Get this going. There we go. All right, I'm going to also keep everybody on mute. It's just me. I don't have a team or anything like that, and I'm not selling anything. There's nothing like that going on. We're just here to talk about real estate in a general way and get you back on with your day. All right, let me go ahead and get the timer started. All right. So thanks everybody for being here. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. This is part of the Drew 2 series where I speak every 2 weeks for 22 minutes at 2 o'clock. I know it's all like branding stuff. Tuesday, Drew 2, but we want to do a brief study and then get you on back on your way, on your day with work or whatever you have going on. So my name is Andrew, and I'll be guiding us through our discussion today. I'm going to keep everybody on mute, and then at the end, you can certainly ask questions and things of that nature. All right, so let's get to it. Today's topic is using your own primary home to create a real estate empire. This is taken directly from my own experience because real estate has been so kind to me and how I've used my own primary home to leverage into millions of dollars of real estate. It's going to sound crazy what I'm going to cover today, so just hang tight. This is real world experience, and you can absolutely accomplish the same thing that I've done. All right, so who am I really? What's the Drew 2? Well, the Drew 2 is me. My name is Andrew. I've got over 20 years of investing in real estate. I'm also a loan officer, but we're not talking about loans, but you can certainly call me about it. We can discuss your scenarios. I'll give you my direct number. When I speak to real estate, I mean residential real estate. Commercial properties and warehouses are all cool, but we're doing 1 to 4 unit residential real estate. I'm on the Facebook, I'm on the Instagram. My Instagram QR code is on the screen. And we post these each to YouTube. You can share them with whomever you like. They're all for free. And hopefully this is a good educational course, at least to get concept, right? In 22 minutes, how much stuff can we really cover? I just want you to understand the concepts and what's possible. All right, so the 2 main things I want to put us all on the same page. I want you to understand about owning real estate right now. So one of the studies that the Federal Reserve did last year showed that the average homeowner has a net worth of $250,000, the average homeowner. And the average renter has a net worth of $6,000? Yep. This is why they're trying to curb inflation. This sounds weird, but owning a home, it puts you in an elite category. Now, owning a home is very hard right now. It is hard. I don't want to gloss over that fact. It's very difficult. But if you can do it, you can leverage your own primary home to your extent, however you want to go. The other thing I want us to talk about too is, Vanguard, the retirement company, they did this study where the average, normal person, not billionaires, but the average American has about $90,000 saved when they reach retirement age. That's not enough. 90 grand will not take you to the end of your life. You will be a burden to your family if you're an average American at this day and age. And it sounds so frustrating for me to say this, but the table's set, and it's set against you. The economy, social statuses, how finances work. You've got to do something else besides just work your job. If you just work your job, you'll be fine. But if we can do something else, our lives can be very different. That's the 2 things I want you to know right now, and why we're even talking about real estate to begin with. All right, so what does it take to purchase a home? Just in case, there might be some people on here that don't know what goes into it. There's 3 things we speak to when we purchase a home. We talk about our income, right? You have to have a job, income. You got to be able to support the payment. You also have to have reasonable credit. Not perfect, but reasonable. And then the biggest area that most people struggle with is the down payment. Yeah, because when I get to a down payment, all right, if I'm a veteran, I'm a veteran. Andrew's a veteran. That's 0 down. But if I'm a regular person, I need 3% down payment or 5% down payment. What's a down payment really? I'm buying a $300,000 home. I need 5% of my purchase price, or maybe 3% of my purchase price. That's $9,000 to 15 grand. Yeah, you might. FHA loans, 3.5% down payment. But as I mentioned, VA loans and USDA loans, that's for like the country, can have 0 down. But on top of that, then you have closing costs. And that might be an additional 10 grand. So I might need 20,000 to purchase a home. Who's got $20,000 just laying around? Nobody. Nobody who's a first-time home buyer does, which is exactly why there are first-time home buyer programs to solve the issue of the money that we need to purchase a home. If I can just do the first one, I'm going to show you how to leverage it into more. But the first one is the hardest. I started my real estate career with a down payment program also because I didn't have enough money to purchase a home either. There's no shame in using these programs to our advantage. And if you can do that one step, then you can leverage it into further and further wealth. All right, I hope this makes sense how I'm describing it. So if I can buy the home, all right, what's the payoff? What are we really talking about here? So I want you to think about a $300,000 home and you own it for 5 years. Okay, this is how we create wealth. That first slide that I showed you, 2 things to know right now. How does an average person have a net worth of $250,000? Let me show you. So I'm going to buy a $300,000 property. I'm going to use one of those normal methods of purchasing it with 3% down. I will assume that my property will appreciate 5% every year. 5%. That's a conservative number, but it's a realistic number too. It doesn't appreciate every year. Everything has risk to it, but on average, I want you to use 5% when we're looking at numbers. Your interest rate will be 6.5%, and you're going to live in the property for 1 year. 1. And then you're going to rent it for 4. All right, this is why we invest in real estate. 5 years later, your home will not be worth $300,000 anymore. It'll be worth $383,000. Yeah, went up in value. 5% a year, $383,000. And your mortgage is paid down every year. Every month it's paid down. You paid it down a little bit, but then your tenant paid it down. Okay, so you lived in the property for 1 year. That's the requirement that all of these residential mortgages have. I'm going to buy a home. I'm going to live in it for 1 year. And then you're going to move out, buy another primary home. While that one is being rented, you're going to collect income and pay down your mortgage to $272,000. How much of a spread is that? It's over $100,000 now. I have over $100,000 of equity buying a property. I'm going to create rental income on my home. It's more income for me. And if I choose to sell it, which this is the math I want us to look at, we're going to sell at the 5-year mark. Now, when you sell, you also have closing costs. Remember on the slide previously, you have closing costs when you buy them. You also have closing costs when you sell. So when I pay my realtor commissions, maybe I get some property taxes, my net, the net money that I will receive from buying a property in this regard is $79,500. Now, what could I do with $79,500? I could pocket it, sure, or I could go out and buy 2 more properties. This is what I want you to think about. You may have got to wait 5 years to start this journey. Yes. But if you can look at it from a 5-year perspective, it will transform your life. Okay? Buying a regular home, like $300,000, that's below the average home price in Dallas, Fort Worth, where I live. So I'm not even asking you to buy a high-dollar home. I'm actually buy a medium-level home, maybe even a below medium-level home. If you can do that, hang on to it for 5 years, you're going to have plenty of equity, and then you can leverage. Now you can leverage. Here's the risk that you have. Andrew, I'm concerned about the properties. What if the property value goes down? All right, let's look at it. Let's take one of Andrew's properties, for example. We're going to call this a case study. This is where we take a real life example and show you the math. So this is a home that I purchased. I purchased it in Jacksonville, Florida. And I purchased it at the worst time in the history of mankind to purchase a home, 2008. 2008. So if you remember what 2008 was, 2008 was during the housing crisis. So at the time, we actually looked at this property in 2007. My wife and I did. We went to the neighborhood, looked at the homes, and the builder was selling the homes for $175,000. That was in 2007. So in 2008, the builder calls me and says, hey, we saw you were interested in our neighborhood last year. Financing fell through on one of our properties. Would you like to buy it for 135? 135. They were selling it last year for 175. That's $40,000 off. And my wife and I, together, we're like, oh, I mean, we know that house values are going down, but they probably won't go down much more, right? Wrong. They went way down. But we didn't know that. I'm giving you a case study. If you're concerned about house values and the risk going into real estate, let me show you the worst case that I've got. So I bought this home in 2008, and I bought it for 132. I know they said 135. We still negotiated them down. Oh, we're so smart. Not really, but you know, we did our best with it. So I bought it for 132. I put zero down, just like we were talking about, at a 7% interest rate, higher than what we have now. So I borrowed 100% of the value of the time, which I would not recommend, but that's what I did because I didn't have a lot of money to do anything differently. I didn't have choices. And the value decreased to $79,000. And this didn't happen like in 1 month or 2 years. For 5 years, I was hammered every year, value going down every single year. I could not refinance. I could not sell. I could not refinance because I owed more than the house was worth. I could not sell because I owed more than the house is worth. A common thing that I hear people in my industry, you know, hey, I'm a loan officer. I can talk about my own industry. I hear other loan officers say, hey, just refinance in a few years. Well, what if you can't? I want you to look at it from always a conservative worst case scenario. So you make the best decision. If it gets better, that's cool, but let's base our numbers on the worst case scenario. What if I can't refinance from today's rates, just like Andrew couldn't on this property right here? It's at 7%. Now, I did the same thing. I lived in it for a little while, and then I rented it. So when I rented it, though, I wasn't positive on cash flow. I lost money every month. In the beginning, I lost over $100. I evened it out a little bit towards the end, but again, I want us to base numbers on this scenario. I never lost money on the property, though, because I never sold it. I will sell it this year. It's slated to sell this year. Current tenant will move out in July, and I will sell it for $260,000. How much money did I lose? Well, I don't know. Maybe I put into it $140 a month. But if I look at my cash on cash numbers, they're over 100%. Because I did have closing costs when I bought it, and I lost money every month. But I held on to it for 15 years. 15 years, really? Well, I was renting it. And look at all the appreciation I got out of the property. Eventually, the market goes up and down. Real estate people always need a place to live. In the history of mankind, people still need a place to live at every single point. Countries have gone to war over it. Even when we lived in caves, we still lived in a cave. It was someplace to live. So even if my value on the property went to zero, which is never done, but if it did go to zero, I still have a piece of real estate. I can't say that for stocks. If my stock goes to zero, I'm completely out. I'm out. I lost everything. If real estate does go to zero, I still have something. But in this case, this is probably the worst period that we can even analyze. Andrew did everything wrong when he purchased the home, and I still have a cash on cash return of over 100%. Yeah, that's crazy. And my 15-year average appreciation amount is 5%. And that's why we use that number. So when I sell this home this year, I will leverage this home and buy 2 homes, just like I'm teaching you how to do it. I lived in this home. Even if the market goes down or whatever, we're going to just hang on to the property for a longer period of time. I've got to get started with my own primary home to make this work, though. One primary home will help me. And remember what I'm saying. You're going to occupy it for 1 year, move to another primary home, and not sell your current home. I know this means I've got to plan and save. Ooh, who wants to save? That means I got to live beneath my means. Yeah, kind of. We're talking about investing here. Long-term payoff. I showed you earlier on another slide. All right, the 5-year payoff, right? If I bought one home in 5 years, the numbers, it increased to 383. Let me show you the total picture here. That was one property. So if I can do this strategy using my primary home and doing a little bit of planning, let me show you a chart. On my chart, the number is going to seem a little crazy, but this is what I'm doing. So on the left-hand side of your screen is the number of properties that you will own doing this strategy. Yes, it goes to 180. At the bottom of the screen are the years that it takes to get there. Yes, it goes to 25 years. I don't want to oversell this. Real estate is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a long-term plan of how to create generational wealth for my family and have financial independence. When I pass, everybody in my family will get a house. That's a pretty good thing to say. And I'm really good right now. It took me a long time to get here, though. My first 10 years, I didn't have a group like this. This is why I'm giving out these classes. There was nobody there to help me. I was wandering around, not knowing what to do. So if you're going to do this plan, here's how I would tell you how to do it. So in year 1, this year, or maybe next year, but let's say this year, I want you to see a little red thing. You're going to buy one primary home. Oh, it's so small. Wow, it's tiny. Yeah, I don't need you to get crazy. I just want you to buy one home. So the little pink line will show you how many properties you own a year. So year 2, you're not going to sell your first one, but year 2, you're going to buy another primary home. So year 2, you own 2 homes. Year 3, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to buy your third home. Year 4, you're going to be using as little out of pocket as you can to continue to buy 1 home a year. Andrew, I can buy 2 homes a year. Great, buy 2 then. But if you're a regular person, maybe I can only afford to buy 1. But at year 5, this is where the strategy kicks in. Year 5, I'm now going to have the little blue mark. I'm going to buy a normal investment property because I'm going to sell one. I'm going to sell my first home from year 1, take that $79,000 that I took out of it to buy 2 more. And in year 6, I'm now going to sell my year 2 house and buy 2. Sell 1, buy 2. Year 7, same thing. I'm going to sell 1 to buy 2. This is all we need to do. It takes us 7 years to get here, but at 7 years, you're going to own over 12 houses at year 7. Now at year 10, we're going to multiply it even further, okay? So this is an additional 5 years. So year 5, what do? We sold 1 to buy 2. So now I've got 2 that I've held for 5 years. So in year 10, I'm going to sell 2 and buy 4. Yeah, I'm going to sell 2 to buy 4. I'm going to do that strategy for 5 years. Every year, I'm going to sell 2 homes. I'll sell my year 6 homes, my year 7 homes. Sell 2 to buy 4. And then at year 15, yeah, I'm going to sell 4 to buy 8. You're going to be buying 8 properties every year. Every year. I'm putting down there that you're buying another primary home, but at this point, you probably don't have to. Maybe you're doing some other type of method that there is out there to purchase another home, like the BRRRR method or subject to, you know what I mean? Like maybe you're using some other techniques to acquire homes. But now you almost own 40 homes, year 15, and you're not done. You're not. And year 20, you're selling 8 properties every year to buy 16. You see where this is going? And then in year 25, I mean, I don't care what you do in year 25. If you sell 16 homes a year, that's like $1.6 million every year. You're going to be great. And this is the realistic way of doing it. So this is me not quitting my job, not sacrificing everything, not gambling it all away on some move. This is just a regular way of just working my normal job acquiring one property a year, and I'm leveraging it into being a multimillionaire. Now, I told you in the first slide, I've been doing real estate for 20 something years now. I didn't get the first few years right because I didn't buy right. I didn't know this technique or how to properly leverage my homes. But I am between year 10 and 15. I'm just a little bit behind schedule, but I'm selling 2 homes this year to buy 4. I'm already doing it. So when I buy my 4 homes this year, in 5 years, I'll be buying 8 homes and so forth. I still keep my regular job. I maintain my normal lifestyle, and I'm leveraging my primary home that I bought 10, 15 years ago into acquiring more real estate. Now, this is just a concept. As I mentioned, this is a 22-minute class today. It doesn't go very long. I just want you to understand the concept of it. Should I be investing in real estate? I don't know. You ever want to make $1.6 million a year? How are you going to do it? Here's one idea for you to think about. There's no pressure here. I'm not selling anything. I just want you to understand the concept and think on it. And then you can call me. We can talk it through some more if you really want to. All right. So this is the end of our presentation. I'm almost to the 22-minute mark. If you want to follow me on the Instagram, there's my QR code. Here's my direct phone number, my direct email. You can feel free to call me at any time, and I'll let us have the last minute or so here to ask any questions. Feel free to take yourself off mute if you would like and ask some questions. I'll check here. Oh, my hair looks different. Yes, Pam. I cut it all off and donated it to charity. So yes, the picture on the screen is what I used to look like, and now I look like this. So yeah, we donated it away. So Krishni, what do you want to sell at 5 years? The first primary home that I purchased. I want to sell that first primary home that I acquired 5 years ago so I can buy 2 more homes. I hope that makes sense how I'm describing it. What is the cash flow per month? All right. Here, I want to go back to something really, really important. Let me see if I can get back to this slide. Give me 1 second. Yeah, let me go backwards a little bit. This is it. This is the slide I want to do. Let's say my cash flow is $200 a month. $200 a month over a 12-year period of time is 12 grand. Now, look how much my appreciation went up. 80,000. How much did my principal buy down go? 28,000. I paid my mortgage down more than cash flow would be. My value went up 6 times what my cash flow was. I know how cash flow is presented to everyone. I certainly see it. It sells books and it sounds great. Cash flow is not the method I'm talking about. Cash flow helps me keep the engine running so that I don't lose money. Like on that first home that I showed you, I had negative cash flow, right? But I'm still clearing $130,000 from the sale of that property. Don't get hung up too much on cash flow once you understand about cash flow. But even if your cash flow is 0, you will be a multimillionaire by using this technique. All right, let me look through a couple of the chats here. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you, Rosalind. Okay. What are your thoughts on buying a second property in DFW at the current market? Prices are high. Prices come down. All right. So Roger, what if the prices never come down? What would you do? Yeah. And again, this is just things to think about. Warren Buffett, you know, the billionaire dude, he says he doesn't know how to time the market. He just buys companies on value. That's what I want you to do here. I do not want you to overpay. Your commitment to owning a primary home is a 1-year commitment. That's not the perfect house. Cool. You only live in it for 1 year. I'm at the place in my life where I can't move every year anymore, right? I've got a family. We can't move every year. And maybe some of you can't move every year either. But I still want you to think about using your primary home as leverage to buy other properties. It goes up and down. I don't know how to time it. In my worst case scenario, I timed it wrong, but I didn't know how to time it. I just bought that property because I knew long-term appreciation, it would work for me. And that's exactly what I want you to do here. Real estate is forgiving. If you make a mistake, just hold on to it longer. That's it. Don't be afraid of the market. Everything is risky. Doing nothing is risky too. Hope that makes sense how I'm describing it. All right. Any other questions before I end the broadcast today? If you have any, feel free to call me at any time. Oh, last one, what was it? Good to use the equity buying another house. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about selling our homes, using the equity to buy more homes. That's what we're talking about. I'm not talking about refinancing. I'm about selling. So yeah, think of it that way. Sometimes when I refinance, I can't take all the cash out. Sometimes I can only take a very small amount out. So what I'm talking about is selling your asset to leverage it for 2 more. If you do that plan, you'll have many, 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 many properties. 180. I showed it to you on the graph. All right. I'll go ahead and end the broadcast today. Thanks everybody for your time. Feel free to reach out, call, text. My name is Andrew, and thanks for watching today's Drew 2. Have a good one.